Hey, this is Pat with racketstringingtips.com. Thanks for checking this channel out today. And today we're going to continue our stringing journey with cutting out strings. Now, it seems kind of easy and obvious, how to remove the strings, but I wanted to kind of go over some different techniques that I've seen. And this is also a good part of the video where you can also learn a little bit more about frames and about how rackets are made. So I'm going to go ahead and have a couple videos that I think would be helpful for you to kind of get a little bit more familiar, if you're not already, with how rackets are made and the materials and the stress points and things like that. I have a couple good videos that I've been watching that I think that might help you with that too. But getting right into this for today, what I want to do is just kind of show you some ways, because every time you string a tennis racket, you're putting a lot of pressure on the frame. And every time you pull, just as an example, every time you pull one string, you're pulling between 55, 65 pounds, right? Generally. And so when you do that about 40 times, you can see all the pressure that you're putting on the racket. And it's kind of interesting. I just got done watching a video where Wilson was interviewing Stefan Edberg and Roger Federer. They were just kind of talking about rackets because the pro staff has been around for, both of the players have been using the Wilson rackets for many years, and pretty much the whole entire career. And really what was interesting was when the commentator asked Stefan about how many rackets he gets a year. And it just kind of gets you to think, because they usually get about 60 to 70 frames a year that they play with. And so you can see after a certain amount of restringings, the racket starts to kind of lose some of its properties. And they can feel that when that starts to happen. So again, we need to be careful when we're not just stringing a racket, but also when we're cutting out strings. But really there's three ways that I've seen people do this. Number one, well, first of all, with the tools that you have, you can use scissors. You can use the clippers that you use for cutting the string, or also there's some gardening shears, or I don't know if they actually, yeah. So I've used this so much I actually broke the handle. This is what I tend to always use for cutting strings. Now if you're only cutting one or two rackets, you can pretty much use your regular common scissors. I have actually two pairs of scissors here. These actually, if you're going to be cutting a lot of strings out, this is going to hurt your hand after a while. It's going to kind of like get into your thumb here, and it's not fun when you do it time and time again. Now these are a little better quality scissors, and I don't feel it when I'm cutting because they're pretty solid. So if you find a good pair of scissors, that would work. The shears, the cutting shears, these actually have done really well because they'll go through the string bed quickly. Now I've also seen some people use this to cut one string at a time, starting in the middle, alternating the mains and the crosses, and then kind of going to the top, to the sides, and that's one way to do it. Now if the string is already broken, I would just cut them out as quick as possible. Now just to tell you, like when we're actually on tour, like if you're stringing at a tournament, really, you're generally not going to be the one that's even cutting them out. They usually have somebody that does that for you, but unless you're in a small tournament, maybe a 32 draw or something. But really, many times is you're just going to start at the bottom and then you're just going to go. So really, if you're starting in the middle, that's usually what I'll do. So I'm going to go ahead and just show you the way that I normally do it, but there are other ways of doing it. And really, if you do it, really what you want to do is you want to remove the strings as quick as possible and keep the pressure as even as you can on the racket. So really what I'll do is I'll probably just cut one string in the middle. See, even with these scissors, it's kind of a little bit hard, right? So I'm going to go ahead and grab these shears because I go back to what I'm used to. So I'll cut that string, and then what I'll do basically is I'll just go like this. I'll go up here, turn the frame over, go like that, and go like that, and basically I now have all the strings loose, as you can see. And then what I'll do, because I've already done that, then I'll just kind of go around each one like this, so that way they stick out with the loops, and then you can just quickly grab them And when you have the loops, you obviously don't want to just be yanking them through the strings, because then you're going to, number one, make the grommets bigger, and also you could like tear something. So you want to kind of be careful when you're pulling the knots through. And then really you're just going to go like that. I mean, that works. There's other ways of doing this, but this is kind of whatever works for you. I just wanted to show you an example of how to do this fairly easy. There you go. Strings are now removed, and we'll be ready to string next time around. We'll see you then. Thanks.